Alright, welcome to patch 10.10's breakdown for the patch coming out on Wednesday for TFT. This is just going to go over the updates that are going to happen in the patch. So without any further ado, let's just get right into it. So going over trait nerfs first, mech pilots are getting another nerf because they're being too strong right now in the meta, especially mech infiltrator. That's been one of the meta comps for a long time. So what they're basically doing is instead of the pilot getting the actual mech getting 100% of the pilot's attack damage, they're now going to get 80% or 80 attack damage plus 45% of the pilot's attack damage. So basically, they're reducing the mech's strength in attacking. So now going to the trait buffs, we have a buff for space pirates, infiltrators, and also rebels. So space pirates are getting another buff. If you remember, they used to be 15% for item drop chance up for space pirates. Now they're 20%. But now in the next update, they're going to be 25% item drop chance. So there's going to be a lot of items if you go for space pirate. Infiltrators, it's not kind of a buff, it's more of like a fix. So they wouldn't jump to backline if there was someone within their attack range. However, now they always are going to jump to the backline and basically infiltrate. I mean, that's what infiltrators are meant to do. And finally, rebels, they're getting a pretty substantial buff. As you can see, they're going to get a 3% increase at tier 2 and a 5% increase in damage at tier 3. So you will start seeing rebels making a comeback. Probably not as strong as they used to be, but pretty damn strong. Okay, the next thing that's going to come up is a brand new galaxy as always. This is called the Galactic Armory. And what this basically lets you to have is all players receive 2 completed items at the same time. So it's not going to be like just a sword, or it's not going to just be a chainmail vest. They're going to get completed items, so it could be like a guardian angel or a bloodthirster or a chalice. So you're going to get 2 items, and that's going to really like open the gates for brand new like mind games for TFT. Because if everyone gets the same items at start, some people are going to be rocking the same comp because their items will suit a certain comp, right? Finally, we're going into, next we're going into champ changes. So starting off with tier 1 champs, so 1-cost champs. Twisted Fate is getting a nerf, so is Poppy and Sire. However, Ziggs is getting a buff. So Twisted Fate is really strong right now. The only thing that's getting changed is his 3-star spell damage cost. So instead of doing 550 damage, he now does 450 damage, so 100 damage decrease. That's because he's been one of the main 1-cost units that are being played. Next we have Poppy. Poppy, especially in Candyland, Willy Wonka, all of that is super OP. So she's getting a nerf. It's basically impossible to kill her. So the nerfs that she's getting, instead of doing 100 spell damage, 175 at tier 2 and 250 at tier 3, she's now getting a 25 spell damage decrease at tier 2 and a 50 spell damage decrease at tier 3. Alright, so next we have Zaya getting a nerf. It's a slight nerf because right now she's super OP in hyper roll comps. So instead of having 55 attack damage, she now has 50 attack damage. So she does a bit less damage, and that means if you have Celestial, because she is Celestial, she have a bit less healing. It's like a knock-on effect. Finally, we have Ziggs. Ziggs had 45 mana, and he started off with 0. But now, after this patch, he's gonna have 0 mana still starting off, but he's gonna have 40 mana to get his ult, and that basically means he has to also attack 1 time less in order to get his ultimate. So he should be able to ultimate much more often. The way I see this happening here is that he might replace Sona, right? Sona has 40 mana, Ziggs has 40 mana. They're both interchangeable, both rebel, so you can kind of build off from that. Alright, going into 2-cost champs changes, we got Yasuo getting a major buff. His buff is huge. You're going to start seeing the Bang Bros comp come back. So before he had 600 health and 100 mana to get his ultimate. I start off with 0. However, now he has 700 health and he only needs 90 mana. So this is a massive buff for Yasuo and Blade Master comps. You're going to see amazing results with this new Yasuo. Okay, next we're going to tier 3. So Karma, as we can all agree on, is the worst tier 3. I mean, the worst tier 3. Worst 3 cost in the entire game. No one uses her unless they're pushing for Dark Star and they need her. I mean, I use her, but I'm like the only one. I could always 3-star Karma. So she's getting a major buff. The buff that she's getting, instead of having 35 bonus attack speed, 50 attack speed, and 100% bonus attack speed, is essentially being either like 25 each, or 25% plus on each, except for first tier. First tier is 15% increase, second tier 25% increase, and third tier 25% increase. So you're gonna see major changes for the way Karma is used with her allies. And next, Syndra. Syndra's been underperforming in this meta. We can all agree on that. Before she used to be super strong, now she's super weak. So I think they nerfed her too hard in the other patch. So now they kind of bring her a slight buff. So instead of having 80, 120, and 200 spell damage, she now does 100, 150, and 250 spell damage. We're going to the 3 cost champs. This is my favorite one. Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz is one of them champs that it all depends about positioning, right? If you put Vel'Koz in the right spot, he can go absolutely nuts. But if he's not in the right spot, it's mediocre. However, now Vel'Koz has 25 extra spell damage and a whole 50 extra spell damage. So he's going to get that little edge more to make his comps a bit more stronger. So Void Brawler comps are going to get stronger. Sorcerer Star Guardian comps are going to get stronger. Moving on to Kayle. Kayle's been absolutely killing it as a 4-cost unit. Super strong in the meta. Especially with the Blade Master, you just put on some attack speed on her and the rapid fire cannon, and she goes nuts. However, now she's getting a 3-star decrease, so when you 3-star her, her ult damage is going to decrease by 150. But the rest is going to kind of stay similar because it's not that bad. And finally, we've got a long-awaited Wukong change. So before, his ultimate used to attack random units, so he used to go all around the board trying to attack units with his ult. However, now his ultimate would go from one enemy to the other enemy in order of their proximity. So whichever enemy is the closest, he's going to go there. The next closest, he's going to go there. So a bit of AI tweaking. Okay, moving on to item changes, we can see that the Chalice is getting a nerf. Sona has been abusing the Chalice in Star Guardian Sorcerer, Void Brawler, everything. All them comps are abusing the Chalice of favor. So now instead of restoring 10 mana, it's going to start restoring 8 mana to herself and her allies around her, which is going to be a major, I think it's a major nerf, because that basically means she has to hit one more attack, auto attack to get her ult, and one more auto attack everyone basically needs to get their Chalice buff. Next thing we have kind of it's like a slight nerf. You won't notice it too much, but in these comps, it would definitely damage them comps. So Morello and Red Buff, they've been too strong in this this meta and this patch, this set. So they're getting a 2% decrease, both of them from true damage burn. And finally, we got the Deathblade. The Deathblade, before you would start with 0 stacks, and it used to display the number of stacks. However, now you always start with 1 stack, and it will display the bonus attack damage instead of the number of stacks that you have on your Deathblade. So moving on to miscellaneous changes and kind of like quality of life, but we'll move on to that next. So super dense galaxies, the ones that give you an extra player on your board, they now grant Force of Nature at stage 3-1 instead of reaching level 5. So if someone pushed level 5 first, they would immediately get 2 extra people on the board. However, now it's much more fair, everyone gets the Force of Nature at the same time. Next one is Nico's Help Error. Most people haven't experienced this. I experienced this, very frustrating. I was so confused as to what's going on. However, now you're going to get an error if there's no additional units available. So if all the characters in the bag have been taken up, and you try to put Nico's Help on one of the characters, when there's none left, you're going to get an error message. And second to last, we are going to item drops are more likely to occur at the starting PvE rounds, which means you'll get an understanding of what items you want to start building or what comps you want to start going to from the start. And finally, random item carousel chance has been reduced from 4% to 1%. Okay, moving on to bug fixes and quality of life. So equipped items are now visible again whilst at carousel. So this has been a thing for a long time since this set has come out. Whenever you go on carousel, you can't see what items you have on your champs, and now you can when you go back. It's major help. There's also an issue where players would arrive late to the first carousel, especially on mobile. That happened to me many times. Next one is Guardian Angel now no longer stops combat enhancing effects. So, for example, Jin's 4th shot or Shaco's ultimate, where he does the critical attack. And there's improved drag and drop function and a Zera fix for his visuals when he's auto-firing missiles. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I know you saw me like just click my fingers and I changed clothes halfway through the video. Anyway, I appreciate the support. Thank you for watching. A like would be greatly appreciated. A subscription below would also be more appreciated. And there's going to be a major shift in TFT in the next 4 weeks. Just letting you know. See you next.